my body attacks itself instead of defending it. I was in shock when I had to have heart operation. Then I had kidney transplantation. My lungs also got affected. It's affecting my whole body. When I went to the rheumatologist as a 12-year-old, I was like, oh my God, my grandma goes there. I don't want to be here. I had a school in the hospital.
Wait, so there was an actual school in the hospital?
Yes. And it was easier to get good notes, so I liked it.
Freaks No More.
Hey again, I am Vicky and this is Freaks No More, the show where we tackle myths about visible and invisible disabilities and hopefully show you how you can be a good ally to people who just experience the world differently. Today we're talking about a condition that I first saw on an American TV series called House, Lupus. There it was described as this mysterious, hard to diagnose condition that is often unseen to the outside world. And today lupus is much more widely discussed, mainly because celebrities like Selena Gomez are very open about having lupus. Our guest today is from Warsaw, Poland, but lives right here in Berlin. She's a photographer and she often draws inspiration from bodily imperfections and from her experience living with lupus. I'm very happy to welcome Lucy Szulinska in our studio. Hi, Lucy.
Hello, good to be here.
So, many people, probably like me, they might have heard about lupus from TV or from any other type of media, but might not know what it actually is. So, what is it?
It's an autoimmune disease that affects mostly inner body and connective tissue, and my body attacks itself instead of defending it.
And there is also this, I guess, myth that it affects only the skin. So lupus is only a skin condition, but it's not.
There are two types of lupus. There is systematic and there is some other one. I'm not even sure about the name, but the other one is affecting mostly skin. But mine affects inner body, tissues and what is built from tissues, like heart, kidneys, brain. Yeah, and lupus was mentioned so many times in Dr. House because it is very complex and it's very hard to discover it. So because they had so many difficult cases, it was always a lupus. But it wasn't.
And when did you even first start suspecting, maybe I should seek a diagnosis or maybe there is something that I should check with a doctor?
When I was 12, or like 10, I started to have some symptoms like very bad blood circulations in my hands. So my mom wanted to take me to a doctor and she took me to a rheumatologist because my grandmother had such problems. I was pretty happy about going to the hospital for the first time because it was exciting and I was like,
Really?
Yay, I'm going to head to the hospital. So I was diagnosed first as a 12-year-old child and I had mixed connective tissue disease for a longer period of time.
So it was not lupus, like
Yeah.
when you were 12, they didn't immediately say like...
It wasn't lupus until I was 25 when I moved to Germany.
How did that feel? Like, was it a relief in a way to finally know, okay, I know that it's lupus?
It was a lot of relief because lupus is well known and my previous disease wasn't. So there are much more resources to get to, like for medication or just that people know about it.
And when you got the diagnosis, was there any information about it? Like, where did you learn about lupus?
Well, with lupus, it was easier because it's known, but with mixed connective tissue disease, I have no idea that this affects my organs. I was really surprised when first it affected my lungs. And I was in shock when I had to have heart operation because I had no idea that it's affecting my whole body. I thought it's only joints or muscles, but it was actually everything. And it's very important information that doctors should tell you, but they didn't mention.
How do you manage it? Like, how do you manage just kind of the not knowing?
You learn very early in your life when you start being sick as a child, resilience, and you just learn how to deal with such big events. And I'm pretty strong and I have positive mindset and I'm trying not to think about why do I have it, but the outcome that will come out from having an operation.
what does that resilience look like for you? What do you do to take care of yourself better?
I mean, for sure, I am under care of the psychiatrist and psychotherapy. A lot of support from my family and friends. Yeah, and just my mindset, because I think my mindset is my biggest strength. And without it, I don't know where would I be. This kind of diseases, so autoimmune diseases, they are very connected to your thoughts, to your mindset. When I was 16 years old, I was in a hospital, and some mother of some child came to me, and she said, "Wow, you're so brave. You're in such a good high school and you're doing so well. Why are you fighting so hard while you could have private tutoring, being homeschooled?"
They're questioning like, why were you not benefiting from like all of these things that you could have it easy,
Yeah.
but you were deciding to like, no, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna fight.
I was fighting, but my body somehow believed that I can give up. And with that came, I couldn't walk, I couldn't swallow water. My mother she was picking me up from school every day. I somehow survived, but this gave me the idea that she interfered into my mindset, my positive mindset.
So just this one interaction of like a person saying to you, well, you could just not fight and just have it easy.
Yeah. I could have, with my disease, I could have stayed at home and just take care of myself.
How long did it take you to overcome that comment from that person? Because it clearly affected you a lot.
I just got flare from hearing that.
Wow.
And it took me like, I don't know, half a year, something like that, until I got better.
Can you tell me a bit more about that? What are flares and remissions in lupus? Because many people might not know.
Remission is the state I'm at now. So I'm better. I'm doing like nothing is affected by this disease. But flares are moments when disease gets worse. So I had in my lifetime that my heart got affected. I had heart operation. I had time that my kidneys collapsed because I had this flare. And then I had kidney transplantation. My lungs also got affected by lupus. And so that by this time I also had flare. So remissions are longer, or maybe for me it's like that. But when it comes like
it comes banging, like
banging. And
do you know? Can you guess if a flare is coming? Have you experienced that, or it's like very unexpected and it surprises you?
With kidneys, I had no idea that they're collapsing. Maybe I was a bit weaker, but I could still walk, I could still work, study.
And I mean, now you've developed this mindset of positivity and you found your way to cope. But getting a diagnosis, were you ever hiding it from people?
Yes, I've been hiding it until I moved to Germany. During my studies, photography studies, I met this professor, an amazing professor, and she told me that I'm sick is my strength and I could put that into my work. I'm actually very grateful to her because after that, not only I used it in my work, but also I started talking about my disease and I'm open about it. Before, no one knew I'm sick. Only people that were close to me.
And now you're here on a show talking about you and talking about having lupus, which is, I think, pretty brave.
I'm also proud of myself that I went through this.
Behind us, we have this spinning wheel. Our listeners and viewers might already know what it is. And each color represents a different myth. In this case, about lupus.
All right.
These are some things that we've already talked about with you, we've touched upon. But let's see. Let's spin the wheel and see what it gets us. So whenever you're ready, spin it.
Yeah.
Lupus is contagious. This is an interesting one.
I never heard that.
Have you ever I was going to ask you, have you ever encountered someone saying that lupus is contagious?
No, never. Maybe people that have flares on their body hear that.
But just to be clear, lupus is not contagious at all. It's an autoimmune condition. You cannot catch lupus from someone and you cannot give lupus to anyone.
Yeah.
Can we spin the wheel again?
Yes.
See where we land. It is, yes,
blue.
Only old people get joint and bone issues.
That's what I thought myself. When I went to the rheumatologist as a 12-year-old, I was like, oh my God, my grandma goes there. I don't want to be here. And then I went to the hospital and I met all of these children fighting the diseases, like rheumatologic diseases. I had a school in the hospital, and I had to go for infusions, and it wasn't so much fun. I thought I'm going to the camp, but it wasn't a camp.
Wait, so there was an actual school in the hospital,
hospital.
for kids who are missing school because they have to be in the hospital?
Yes.
And did you go? So did you have to?
Yes, as well.
Wow.
And it was easier to get good notes, so I liked it.
Really?
Yeah, because then I was coming back to school and I was showing like I got a 5 in physics. I was terrible at physics.
When did you start taking medications? When you were like very young, when you're 12, and how did that evolve over time?
I have to take every day around, 20 different tablets.
Wow.
Because without it, I would not be able to come here. As a child, I didn't want to take some of them because there was a medication that was making you stop growing and fat. So I didn't want to be either. Like I wanted to be tall and skinny. I was throwing away the medication.
And
I was throwing it, like my parents didn't know, but I was throwing it away.
Wow.
And I was very lucky because it happened in the time of remission. But I went to a doctor and they said that it's actually getting better. And I thought to myself, I cured myself. Without it, I'm better. But then, of course, some flare came.
I want to talk to you about photography because you're also a photographer and you work here in Berlin. And you mentioned that your lupus diagnosis in a way helped you also integrate that within your work. Can you tell me more about that?
I did this one project, for example, about scars. And it was supposed to help me accept my scars because I had some after my heart operation. I did this project with a lot of interesting people that showed me their scars. And most of them were saying that they don't feel bad about them. They feel like it's a story that they would like to share. It's something that I was missing. I wasn't accepting it.
Was there moments where you weren't so comfortable with your body, and how has that relationship changed with your body over time, either through your work or through just the process of growing up?
I have this heart operation scar, and once I was on the outing with my colleagues from my work. And he pointed at my scar and asked, what is it? And I said,
Excuse me?
Excuse me?
Do people usually make these kind of comments to you, like not curious with kindness?
When I started talking about my disease, I was surprised how people are reacting to my invisible disability. They are very, very sweet and supportive, and they are not judging.
For our viewers and listeners, they know that we have always a little bit of a surprise in the studio. It's a time machine, so it's literally a button that we press together.
Wow.
And we go back in time and we explore a bit about the history of lupus. So what it was like in the past. So I have the button right here. Yeah. And whenever you're ready, we're going to press it together and then we're going to go back in time. 3, 2, 1. In ancient Greece, Hippocrates was the first person to write about ulcers in the skin that were similar to the symptoms of lupus. Later, in the Middle Ages, physician Rogerius used the term lupus, Latin for wolf, to describe wounds resembling a wolf's bite. In 1790, lupus is listed in Dr. Robert Willen's book on cutaneous diseases. This was the first atlas of skin diseases and contained the first illustration of a patient with lupus lesions on the face. In 1846, we arrive in Vienna, home to one of the most influential medical schools at the time. Ferdinand von Ebra was the first to clearly describe what we now call the butterfly rash across the cheeks and nose, a trait of lupus in some patients. Later, his student Moritz Kaposi was the first to describe lupus as a systemic disease that often affects young women. A turning point came in 1950 when Philip Hench received the Nobel Prize for discovering steroids and their effects on a number of inflammatory conditions. For the first time, doctors had a treatment that could control lupus flares. In 2011, the US Food and Drug Administration and the European Medicines Agency approved belimumab, a drug to treat systemic lupus erythematosus. Today, lupus is no longer a mystery, but a condition science continues to unravel. So, we're back in the real world. We're back in present times. What was a surprising thing for you?
That steroids were discovered in the 50s.
Yeah, like I don't know when they discovered, but they received a Nobel Prize for their discovery in 1950.
Because so far I know I am treated by this medication until today. It has so many side effects that I was trying to avoid as a child. Of course, they're helping with lupus, but side effects are a lot.
So more than 75 years after the discovery of
Yeah.
steroids, people still use them.
Yeah.
What are the best ways to support you as a person who has lupus?
Just people have to be with me. That's all what I need from them. Sometimes help with carrying something or understanding that I might be tired more than some people and that I have some limitations. But also I like when people are not thinking about my disease, because I am not a sick person. I'm just a person with some limitations. So
And you don't want to be defined.
I don't want to be defined as a sick person.
Yeah, you're not like you are a person with lupus. Lupus doesn't define your life. Do you have anything to say, like let's say to parents who might have a kid who just got diagnosed with lupus and they have no idea what to do and what it is like?
I would tell them not to treat them as a sick person. Still their child. Do not make hospital out of their life, out of their rooms. Just accept them the way they are and treat them normally.
So just accept your kids, parents.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Lucy, for this lovely conversation, and thank you for being here.
Thank you very much.
Lucy taught me a lot of things about lupus that I didn't know today, and I hope you learned something too. If you have any questions, comments, or anything that you want to tell us or ask, you can write to us on freaks@dw.com, and make sure you check our YouTube version if you're only listening to us on any of our podcast platforms. Bye from me, and remember, be kind, be patient, and be understanding.
Freaks No More.